My Hero Academia. This is My Hero Academia chapter 374, Butterfly Effect. Last we left off, everything went wrong for the heroes, and essentially. Spinner was able to reach Shirakumo and basically turn him back into Kurogiri by putting one of Shigaraki's crusty hands directly near his face. And I guess the stench woke him up from his deep slumber. So now he's back. Kurogiri is back after so long, which is not good news. We cut to America, Washington State specifically, where this weather lady is talking about how this giant cumulonimbus cloud, cumulonimbus storm system is starting to like spread all over the world as a result of the fucking battle that's been going on in Japan. And she also mentions that she's not for the heroes of the world just sitting back and letting this happen. She makes like basically a public service, like a public announcement, just like calling all of the world's governments pussy. I respect that. Whoever this character is, we will probably never see again. We cut back to the Kamino Ward, where Todoroki is, and Dabi is back in full force. he's back and he's using the phospho thing, but he is also very much dying. He is using the last of his abilities on this phospho attack, phosphor, whatever he's doing. And he's just flying away over to where Endeavor is, but luckily he won't have to go far because a Kurogiri portal pulls up immediately as he starts ascending above everybody else. We cut back to the UA battleground thing that they made. Monoma is still hanging in there, with his eyes open, copying Aizawa's erasure technique quirk, and is basically just like, I'm not. Everybody's like, "Are you okay, Monoma?" He's like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm square. I got this. I'm not. They're in there fighting the devil, literally. So I can't complain about needing to blink." So yeah, pretty cool little moment from Monoma. Meanwhile, as the battle continues on between Shigaraki, who is now barrel chested out the wazoo, that's when a Kurogiri portal opens up directly behind Aizawa, Monoma, and the Manual guy. I remember this guy. His name is Manual. He pulls up. President Mike is also with him. I guess he gets sent back. And portals start opening up all over the place in the Gunga Mountain, where Endeavor and Hawks are fighting all for one. 2 portals open up. Dabi comes out of the first one, and who else but fucking Twice himself pulls up. All for One explains that it's not really Twice. It's actually clones of Twice made by Toga, who, after ingesting Twice's blood, also was able to use his quirk and made clones of Twice. So yeah, I mean, All for One starts talking his shit, which is kind of funny because like I don't know if he's trying to guilt trip him real fast, because he's like, now you get to see what would happen if you never killed Twice. And Hawk is immediately like, fucking kill that guy right now. And that's where the chapter ends. This is actually a really short chapter, all things considered, 14 pages. But yeah, that was My Hero Academia chapter 374. Josh, what did you think about this chapter?
I think much. Nah. It was surprising to see that some of the villains got swapped around. It's almost like a reverse Sasuke retrieval arc, like the showing the other side of the trope when and the other villains are pulling up to support.
Yeah,
kind of crazy. I like that. I could have hated, but I decided not to. And I want to see where he goes with this. I'm not. I mean, like, So this is how we get Dobby versus his father, I guess. That's, you know, I didn't really want to see that happen. I'm not too upset, even though we was talking shit about how like the father should be there for the situation. But maybe Horikoshi's gonna make it look way more lit. No pun intended. Anyway, I don't have too many other thoughts.
Yeah. All right.
I knew they was gonna do something with Twice. He's a fan favorite. It is what it is. What did you think, Brian? I want to hear your thoughts.
I fucking hated this chapter.
Oh my god!
Whoa!
Whoa!
Brian.
Damn.
What?
God, this
Explain.
chapter pissed me off. It was mostly the thing that got me grinded my fucking gears was Twice's appearance and the way that fucking Hawks reacted. That shit got me so fucking upset when I read this chapter because I was sitting there. I'm like, so this whole chapter on not the whole chapter, but this whole situation here undermines literally everything that Hawks did. Like everything that Hawks did and what he went through to do this, they undermined it and basically made it seem like it was him being an asshole. But this was literally, he had to do it for the greater good of society. Like, and they're making it seem like Hawks is a fucking evil person for it, you know? And on top, and also, I hate that Twice is the one that shows up here. Because then what's the point of his fucking death? Like, why is it that when she uses his quirk, he comes out instead of her being able to use it as it's actually intended to be used? You know? When Sadman Parade is activated, you have to base it off of somebody that's near you, right? Or like based off of somebody.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think Sadman Parade. No, Sadman Parade is just basically his like ultimate move where he spawns unlimited versions of himself. So I think the reason it has to be Twice, and this is, I guess, me playing a little devil's advocate here, is that like Toga probably turned into Twice, used his quirk as Twice because she can't use it while she's her. So she had to be Twice to make Twice clones.
But this is such a whack way to use it, in my opinion. Like, out of all the ways they could have possibly used this quirk, they did it in quite possibly the wackest way possible, in my opinion. Using it as Twice to have Twice come back in this situation is just so unnecessary. Like, it kind of takes away from Twice's death. Because everybody, when Twice died, was like, nah, bro. He's not dead. There's no way. And then he actually died, and then we were like, oh shit, wait, this is fucking crazy. He's actually dead. But then now they bring him back, and what? Like, what is this? What is this supposed to do for his character? Like, I don't know. Maybe he'll do something, but it's like, why? What's the point? He's literally just fodder at this point. So it just feels kind of whack. Like I kind of like the idea of like maybe it would have been cooler if All For One used this power as like a way to trick the heroes into doing something, but then it backfires because, oh shit, we were fighting a clone instead. Like, that would have been sick if literally they took Dobby and then they did all this shit to take down Dobby, and then it turned out to be a Twice clone. That would have been fucking fire. But they didn't do that, and it's kind of fucking whack that they just used his quirk to be basically, oh, look at this, more fodder on the battlefield to take down. Go kill him again, Twice. Oh, Hawks, oh, look at you, you're angry again. Like, come on, man. Like, you could have done this, you could have done something way better with this whole situation. And the way they're painting out Hawks to be this guy who just has to kill shit, or like, it was literally his job to go and kill Twice. And obviously the whole point of Hawks' character and having to kill Twice, he didn't want to do it. He didn't didn't feel like he didn't like maybe in another world he could have convinced Twice to be a hero or something like that, but I'm trying to figure out how like the proper way to say it, but it's like that whole situation was so interesting because of the morality of it, you know? It was like oh shit, I really don't want to do this, but I have to because you're being used as a fucking weapon by these guys, and unfortunately I just can't save you and you just have to go. So that whole thing was such an interesting plot point, and now it's kind of just being thrown into the front lines for no reason, you know, like at least not in this way, in my opinion. It just doesn't feel right when I read this. I was like, oh come on, man, because it just makes Hawks look so bad as a character. It just doesn't make him seem like a good character in this part. So I don't know. I didn't like the way they handled this with this quirk.
Yeah, it's a little interesting looking. I guess I got to start from the beginning a little bit just to talk about other things. This is not a lot to talk about. There's only 14 pages, and a lot of them are really big panels. But it is cool how like I think one thing that Horikoshi does really well when it comes to these like really large scale war arcs is that he's very good at tipping scales, you know, like adding tension, you know, making certain pieces of the game basically like really decide, you know, these swings in momentum. And he did that in the previous war arc, and he did it again. And I thought it was effective enough, you know, like Kurogiri being back in the game and really just changing shit for everyone. I feel like, you know, there is a lot of, I guess, redundancy here. Like we mentioned, it was weird that like Endeavor's not here, but you know, you kind of had to force it so he would be there in a way. Like you had to get him at there. It doesn't make sense for Endeavor's character for him not to be there when the whole Dobby situation is resolved. So, you know, this is a mechanism in order to make that happen. As for the Twice thing, I don't disagree with you guys at all. I think this was a little strange. I mean, we'll have to see how he executes it in the end of the day, but this was a plot point that I was actually kind of wondering if they were ever going to pay off, because as I was reading it I finished my read through recently of My Hero Academia, and I finished the initial war arc, and you know, you see Toga with Twice's blood, and I'm like, I wonder if they like he is one of those things that's going to be forgotten about, or you know, we're going to pick that up at some point. And you know, at the very beginning of this war arc, we were like, they're all going to be Twice, you know, they're all going to be.
That would have been such a cool twist. Tell me that would have been such a good twist.
Yeah, the only thing that holds it back from being a thing is that like mechanically it wouldn't make sense, because Twice's clones are fairly weak, and if Toga did Twice's clones, I feel like it would be weaker. I don't think there would be any reason that they'd be any stronger.
Right, like it's a push for Twice to have been able to push out clones that strong, but a whole nother, so you know, so even tougher for. So I can live with that. Although I do feel for you, because you know, there's a lot of things I would have wanted to see a certain way in the series too.
I mean, you know,
so you know, I could feel you on that.
Yeah,
I did want to. I don't know if you had a couple more thoughts to finish, but I did have something I wanted to respond with Brian, but I'll wait.
Yeah, just real fast. When it comes to Hawks and Twice, I think you're right, Brian.
That's what I was going to talk about, actually. But I'll let you talk first.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that you know, there is this interesting dynamic between Twice and Hawks where they are, I guess, like Hawks and Endeavor represent like the failings of the system in a way, like Hawks especially being a person that he didn't do the wrong thing in killing Twice, but you know, it maybe isn't morally sound, but for the sake of the world and or for Japan, or however you want to scale it, it was the right thing to do, because Twice was not going to change. And it was only because of the camaraderie he felt with the League of Villains that he was never going to change. It was more to him than just fucking shit up and being a bad guy. He cared for the people he was like riding with, and he would have died for them. So Hawks couldn't save him. There's a moment where Hawks tried to convince him during the war just to turn coat and be like, yo, I can help you get back on your feet. I mean, you'll have to like do some time or whatever, but I think you're a good person and I would prefer to save you if I can. But Twice kind of gave him no choice for reasons of his own, like I said, the League of Villains are are not good people, but they are kind of like you can root for them because they are failed by the system that created Hawks in the first place, so yeah, I don't know. It is a weird way to pay this off, but at this point, for as far as we've gone, I don't know how else you could have paid it off in a sense. Twice is, I feel like, more of a momentum, like the Twice clone stuff is more of a momentum shifter than anything, and maybe a way to, I guess, finish off Hawks's character arc in some way. I don't want to really put any definitive terms on it until we see how he really resolves it. It'll be weird because this isn't the real Twice, so I don't know how much real closure we're gonna get with Twice, because this is technically Toga as Twice, and I don't know how far that reaches, whether he is technically Twice or not, whether he holds all of Twice's memories. I don't know. There's a lot that needs to be clarified.
Here's the thing that I guess now I had a little bit more time to think about it. The thing that I hate the most about it is the fact that Hawks just goes, kill them right now. Like, it just makes him, like, the way that they're describing Hawks, the way that they're like characterizing him is that he's just a killer, essentially. Like, fucking All For One is like, damn, if you didn't try to just kill him only, this wouldn't have happened. Or Hawks being like, kill them now, kill them. It's like, come on, man. He's more than just a fucking murderer.
I think All For One was being facetious. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't think he was really trying. I think he was just fucking with him more as trying to like guilt him.
I mean, I get that, but
no, I feel you though. I mean, yeah. For sure.
It's the way that Hawks reacted that I didn't like the most. That's the thing I didn't like the most. Just
I think I thought the reaction was I didn't love it. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't have an issue with it. If anything, it just screamed urgency. Like it was him, like kind of just like blurting out all that shit that this guy just said, and like taking away the most important fact, which is, holy shit, that's the equivalent of Twice. We need to take him out immediately. By the way, I have a question. That's Toga? That's coming out the portal? Transformed?
No.
It's her using his quirk.
Well, so here's the thing, because I don't know.
She's still fighting with.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Right? Is that, like, I don't know if she's finished her fight, but in theory, she could have at some point before the battle turned into Twice, made a bunch of clones of Twice, and then turned back into herself. But I don't know.
Right. That's what I'm assuming was the case.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I feel like they're going to explain it very next chapter, but
So just one last thing to say about the Hawks and Twice situation. So Brian, you mentioned how him killing, like, all right, like basically like he kind of had to do it, right? Like him making that choice. And, it just, I think the point of that situation with Hawks and Twice, which I actually thought was, I guess, good writing, so to speak, is that like it was supposed to be a tragedy that it had to come to that. Exactly. Like the point is that like they did come from similar backgrounds, and one person got lucky and the other didn't, and also had to deal with way more shit on their plate with his mental issues, with Twice. So I think it was wrong that he had to die. Death is bad, period. There should have been another way, but I think he guilts himself because he feels like he wasn't strong enough to do it himself in a way that was non-lethal. Like, had he just, been quicker or something like that, he might have been able to figure out a non-lethal way to deal with him. or if he had more influence within the hero society that he worked with, instead of just being this guy doing dirty shit on the low. Like he could have been improving the hero agencies he worked with, etc. I guess I just wanted to say I feel like that shouldn't be lost. I mean, it was a good point, and I don't think we're gonna get this like closure between. Like I agree with you, Chris. I don't think this is really going to be much of a thing about Hawks like feeling bad about taking Twice's life, so to speak. I just don't think it's going to be about that. I think he just understands the threat level, and he doesn't have time to think about his decisions. But we'll see.
Yeah, the way I read it was a little different. I didn't see that they were like instantly or like trying to make him out to be a bad person. I think first of all, I don't think All for One was necessarily trying to guilt him, because I think this is more of a reference to Hawk's understanding just how fucking strong Twice really was. And so this is like him saying like, now you get to see how strong he would have been if you hadn't killed him. Like we still found a way to unlock his potential. As far as Hawk's going killing them, I think Hawks does feel guilt in not being able to save Twice. He even had that remorse after the arc itself. But at the same time, he doesn't regret it. Like he's like, I did the right thing, and he would do it again because it was the right call at the end of the day. Like things would have been way different if he hadn't,
Damn, Hawks was fleshed out pretty well.
Yeah,
compared to a lot of the other My Hero Academia characters. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah, there's a couple.
I feel like I understand him. I know you know what I mean. I have a good understanding.
There's a couple
what his core values are.
There's a couple of fun surprises that you get from rereading the series over, and like just things that get a little refreshed in your mind. Hawks' story is like one of the better things in this, just because from where he came from and his value system is a lot different. He is he is like the most pure product of the system, just like Nagant was in her time. And eventually at some point, your humanness starts to come out and you start to conflict with what the system has indoctrinated within you. And that's what Hawks had to do with Twice, but at the same time he was like, this guy's not going to change. He's only going to get stronger, and just like this league will be twice, like pun not intended, twice as dangerous with him in it. So something had to be done. It is an interesting story. I'd like to see where they go with this. Just because I don't know where they go with this. I feel like Hawks' character is fleshed out enough. But if Horikoshi wants to give him a more definitive conclusion in terms of this dynamic, I'm all for it. Why not? I think like thematically, even though the story feels a little rushed, I feel like there's like thematic elements that he wants to execute that he's had for like going for a while, and he does that fairly well. And that I get what he's saying more. When someone tries to explain to you something, he's like, I understand what you're saying, but you're not like saying it correctly or whatever. But I get it. That's how I feel with it. So I'm willing to see how it goes with Horikoshi in this thing. But do you guys have any rebuttals to that at all?
No. I said what I had to say.
Yeah.
I agree with you mostly. I agree. I also empathize a lot with Brian.
Yeah, same.
I'm still holding out. I think
I don't think Brian's wrong at all. I think Brian's like right on a lot of things. It is like I'm just working with what's given at this point. So we can only see how this is like a brand new plot point that he landed on us like a page before the chapter ended. So
man, what is going to happen in the sky?
Yeah.